Cinemassacre's Monster Madness.
Third in the Gamera series, Gamera vs. Gyaos was released in the US as Return of the Giant Monsters. Because it's required by law that all Japanese monster movies have to be renamed for US audiences. Gamera happens to be a big fan of volcanoes, so when a volcano erupts, Gamera is all over it. Then we're introduced to a room full of businessmen who are building a highway and are trying to force country people to move out of their homes so they can build over their properties. This starts a big dispute over money, but soon they have bigger things to worry about. A helicopter gets cut in half by a laser. The laser is of course from the monster Gyaos, who we're introduced to pretty soon. Gyaos seems to draw its inspiration from Rodan, so it's yet another example of Daiei imitating Toho. Both monsters have great wingspans and cause heavy gusts of wind. But Gyaos is a bit more like a giant bat than a pterodactyl, and as we already noted, shoots lasers. Gyaos tries to eat a kid, but Gamera shows up and saves him. The two monsters fight for the first of 3 times in the movie. The laser cuts through Gamera's arm. It looks like the arm's about to get sliced off. Gamera fights back by doing this real cool rolling move, then breathes fire, and then retreats. Guess what happens next? Gamera takes the kid to an amusement park. I just want to see Gamera buy the kid cotton candy. Then we get a briefing on what Gyaos is, what his anatomy is like. He has 2 throats in case you wanted to know. Other than that, there's not much in this scene that you learn about Gyaos. You'd know more just from watching the rest of the film. For instance, Gyaos drinks blood. There's actually a scene where they use a giant vat of blood as bait. And he hates sunlight. So basically, Gyaos isn't just a bat, he's a vampire. How's that for an explanation? The hell with the scientists. Planes try to take down Gyaos, but he cuts them all up nice and clean. Then wreaks havoc on the town. Boom, boom, and more boom. The coolest thing about Gyaos is how perfectly he can cut things. Check out this scene where he cuts a car in half, and the people continue to drive the half car. It's one of the most amusing comical moments of the film. Then Gamera shows up and fights Gyaos for the 2nd time. They take the battle to the air. Lots of spinning, lots of lasers, lots of boom. The fight ends when the sun comes up and Gyaos has to retreat. But Gamera bit off a piece of Gyaos' foot. This is when we learn something else about him. His body parts regenerate. I like how you always keep learning new things about the monsters. The scientists examine the foot, figure out that sunlight kills it, and try to come up with some plans to get Gyaos into sunlight long enough to kill him, one of which involves making him dizzy so he can't fly back to his cave. It doesn't work. The other plan is to create a forest fire. This attracts Gamera, who comes back again and takes care of things. The final fight is the best yet, and ends with Gamera violently dragging Gyaos into a volcano. As for the whole dispute about the highway project, it all gets resolved. Like, hey, we almost got wiped out by a giant laser-shooting vampire bat. Let's put our greed aside. Who cares? This is the most boring aspect of the movie. You could cut out all those scenes and it wouldn't affect anything, other than make the movie more entertaining. Which it is. You have 3 monster battles, you have great special effects. This is a Gamera film that delivers. It has a memorable monster villain who would become the only recurring monster in the Gamera films. Every time the series was rebooted, Gyaos was brought back. In the original series, the same costume was painted silver and reused because of budget constraints, as a different monster in Gamera vs. Giran. If Gamera has an arch nemesis, it has to be Gyaos, making him the Ghidorah of the series. This movie took a lot of the traditions that started with the other 2 movies, like Gamera helping out a kid and Gamera being temporarily defeated by the monster villain's powers. This one put it all together and made it the official Gamera format. The plot with the villagers sucks, and all the scenes of the scientists and military are just the same old bullshit. But if you're in it for the monster scenes, this one does not disappoint.